Hey guys, Kenny Wisdom here. As you can see, I'm driving on my way to an LC, and I thought I'd just give a little quick update for Victory Road. This is going to be the second LC I've played this season, and I think I'm going to play Blastoise tentatively. I have this deck I have built in my bag right now, but I brought my collection, the rest of my collection as well, so I can build whatever I need in the tournament. But I think I'm going to keep Blastoise. As you guys saw in the last episode, I did end up playing Night March, and I won the LC, which was nice. And I'm switching decks mainly because I'm using LCs as experience for Arizona Regionals. And I just kind of want to get to know all the different decks. You know, I haven't been playing in big tournaments for the past few years. So I want to get to know all the big decks, know them inside and out, especially with a deck like Blastoise, which does require some amount of knowledge and knowing, you know, how it just takes reps, I guess. There's repetitions to get the things like Archie's down on turn 1 and things like that. And you know, LCs are overall, you know, they can be important events for your invite, but they're nothing compared to, you know, say a regional. So I'm just kind of using them as a testing ground. I am playing the exact list that Jacob Van Wagner, my good friend and teammate, won Worlds with. We considered changing a few things. I spoke with him last night based on the metagame, but overall I think we decided that the list was just kind of the best in the dark. You know, if there's a lot of Blastoise, we can change things. If there's a lot of Night March, we can change things, but without knowing that, we just kind of gotta see what happens. Particularly, one of the things, like I said, I'm mainly using LCs just to learn about the format, but one of the things that does push me towards Blastoise has been a lot of Night March. At the LC that I won, which I think has been the only other LC since Ancient Origins, although I could be wrong on that. You know, I won with Night March. The second place was also Night March. There was, you know, I'd probably say of the 32 people in the field, I saw at least 5 other Night March decks, and Blastoise is particularly good versus Night March. Their Archie doesn't do anything to run evolving. They have a real tough time beating a Wailord. You know, if you can get a Wailord out, they have to have 11 Night Marchers and a band to do that. And if they have 11 Night Marchers and knock your Wailord out, and it's, sorry, they need to have 11 Night Marchers and a discard pile and a muscle band to knock you out. If they do that, pretty good chance you're going to win, at least with 1 Night Marcher. The decks in Standard are playing Revive right now, which would help a little bit with that, but the LC, of course, is expanded. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. So that tilts things even more in our favor. Additionally, you know, as you saw if you watched the World Championships, you know, Blastoise can just steal games. It's that simple. You know, we saw Jacob. I guess you guys didn't see his top 8 match. He played against Night March, 2-0'd it. You see in the top 4, he also played against Night March, 2-0. You saw in the finals, he played against Toad Bats, 2-0. And yeah, you know, he got turn 1 Blastoise in basically all those games, and he ran very hot, but it's kind of how the deck works. And even if you don't get turn 1 Blastoise, if you can get a Blastoise on the early turns, you know, Keldeo and Mewtwo are so powerful cards. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Other than that, I played around with a few decks. I think the Toad, Giratina, Hoopa deck that won in Europe is really interesting. Some people are playing that around here. I don't particularly love it, but it definitely is a collection of just good, solid cards. You know, Toad is one of the most powerful cards in the game. Giratina seems insane. You know, a hefty energy requirement, of course, but locks your opponent out of a lot of things. Hoopa, just fetching 3 basics, just a Pokemon collector for EXs and an ability. Super good. And Shaman, of course, is the best card in the format. I like the thought of all the Excelgor decks. If you guys have followed my work, you know that Excelgor is one of my favorite, or is my favorite card in Expanded right now, and it's one of my favorite cards of all time. Most of the ones that I've seen have been pretty clunky, but I don't know. You know, if I had to pick in the dark, Excelgor is definitely one of the decks that I want to play, probably the deck I want to play the most, but leaning towards Blastoise or Night March for Arizona regionals. But with that being said, there's a lot more to test. There's a lot more. You know, we got 2 weeks until the event, so certainly a lot more to test. Certainly a lot more to learn and think about. But yeah, so on my way to this LC, probably before around maybe 5. Plan to make. I'm planning to cut this vlog into other little videos to make one full one. So wish me luck. Hey guys, Kenny Wisdom here, driving back from the LC. As you can see, it's nighttime now. I did turn on my lights in my car so that you guys can see a little bit better. But it's around 9:30. The LC went really well. I finished 4-1 in 4th place, which was kind of a dagger because I could have gotten 2nd, which would have gotten slightly more points, but I'll take it. For LCs, like I said in the earlier video, I'm mainly playing for the experience of playing different decks, and then I'd also like to get some finishes in, but the points are so close to each other for, you know, between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, it doesn't really matter which place you end up getting, although, you know, every point does count. But as I said earlier, I played Blastoise, and to give a quick overview, let's see if I can remember all the rounds. In round 1, I played against a dad playing Wobbuffet. He was like a good player. We talked a little bit before the tournament. He was playing Wobbuffet Bats. Maybe there's Toad. I don't know. I didn't see much because he didn't play supporter all game. He started 2 Wobbuffets. I manually built up a Keldeo. Secret sorted twice, and that was it. In round 2, I played against my good pal Liam Williams. He was playing Yveltal Archeops, and we ended up going to a draw. There were a lot of tense moments. You know, Archies can take pretty long turns, and the Yveltal deck, you know, it's playing compressors and trainers. We had lots to think about, so we actually ended up going to time. So I was turn 3, and for those of you who don't know how time works, is when time gets called, you have 4 more turns. Whoever's turn it is then is turn 0, and then turn 1, and then turn 2, and then turn 3. So you have 4 turns between you. I was turn 3. We both had pretty low cards in hand. I had the energy to knock out. I did not have the energy to knock out a Pokemon because my wheeler stayed asleep, and he wouldn't have won the next turn, but we kind of, you know, did the math and saw that it was likely he was going to win, so I went ahead and gave him the win. No real point us taking draws when draws are basically like losses. You know, you have to win out to do anything about them. So I felt fine about that. It's an LC early in the season, not a big deal. Liam's a good friend of mine. And let's see, in round 3, I played against a woman who unfortunately didn't know what Archie's Blastoise did. She was playing fairies. I think she was probably a new player, and it was, you know, kind of made me feel bad because I got the turn 1 Blastoise, Keldeo with 6 energy, and she just couldn't believe what was going on. You know, she knew the rules of the game and everything, but she had just never seen this combination of cards that was basically just, you know, she's sitting there with a Spritzy and a Gardevoir EX, while I have a Blastoise, 2 Keldeo, 1 load up with lots of energy, and Mewtwo, stuff like that. So yeah, she didn't really draw very well, and I was able to take her out pretty easily. And then in round 4, what did I play in round 4? Goodness. Totally slipping my memory. Oh, I played Matt Shin. So Matt Shin is the brother of Michael Shin. They're brothers who played in the Northwest. They both have played for a pretty long time. Matt has taken kind of a step back in the past few years to go to pharmacy school and become a pharmacist, which is what he does now. But we played, and he was playing Yveltal, and one really important kind of note about the matchup is I got the tournament Blastoise, I knocked out his Pokemon with the Keldeo, and what the Yveltal player really needs there is a response KO, because they can Evil Ball, and they can, you know, play on the fact that you have a lot of damage or a lot of energy on you, and he did indeed get the response KO, but I was able to respond to that. He wasn't able to respond, and I knocked him out one more time. And I think the Yveltal matchup is something kind of interesting. I might do a longer video on it, but basically, I feel like it's fine. You know, it's probably even to favorable, but like with a lot of Archie's turns, it just depends. If you get the turn 1 Blastoise, you're in a good spot. If you get the turn on Blastoise without having to discard any superior energy retrievals, you're in an even better spot. And if you get the turn 1 Blastoise with Michelio, get a knockout, and they don't respond, it's going to be very, very hard for them to win. So, overall, there are definitely games that can win. Like I said, Liam, you know, basically beat me earlier in the day. It's definitely not an unwinnable matchup. It's definitely not even highly favorable for us, but I do think it is slightly favorable. Although I do need to test a little bit more against it and see what, you know, how often they can get the response KO versus how often we get the turn 1 Blastoise. And in round 5, I played against my good friend Grant McClellan. He was playing Night March Archeops, and unfortunately, he got a pretty good... I got the turn 1 Blastoise. He got a pretty good start, but I managed to knock out one of his Night Marchers, which was actually his last one. He had 3 prize and just didn't realize it when going through his first turn in battle compressing and stuff, and after that he just had really no options. I mean, he can Sky Return with his Shaymins, he can use Mew to copy Sky Return, but there's not much he can do, and he just kind of concedes. So that was 4-1 for me. Like I said, got 4th, which would have liked to have gotten 2nd, but I knew that was, you know, very unlikely to happen, taking a loss so early and everything. But the rest of the standings were Polo Lee won the event with Blastoise, who went 5-0. Liam Williams, my round 2 opponent, got 2nd with Eviltall. I believe Paul Johnston got 3rd with Blastoise, and then I got 4th with Blastoise. And so 3 Blastoise and an Eviltall, with some Night March and some more Eviltall rounding out the top 8. Going into regionals, we still have some time, you know, the first weekend, which I'll be in Arizona. It still isn't for 2 more weekends, but I think we're quickly approaching a metagame where the known decks are going to be Night March, Blastoise, and Eviltall. And then from there, there's another handful of decks that you can play, but will probably be less popular. As we get closer to the event, I'll definitely kind of talk more about the format and the decks and everything. But I definitely think that if you're trying to build a deck and it has a bad matchup versus 1 or 2 of those, it's going to be a pretty hard time for you. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of this format. I'm sure that the car cam isn't perfect, but I thought I would try it out. Hope you guys like it, and I'll see you next time.